That's right here. Stop it. No, ma'am. I understand that you don't understand your emotions, but you cannot spit on me. Do you understand? So
I'm gonna break down what's happening in this video and show you how we can be more helpful next time.
I'm gonna go to the timeout corner before I put milk in this cereal because you asked for the cereal and then you got mad for some reason. You don't even know why.
So this video starts off with the parent in an emotional state. And what triggers us to move down to an emotional state is the world not going our way. And a signal that we might be in an emotional state is we see the world as me versus you. And we see the child is giving us a hard time as opposed to having a hard time. And you can see that in this video because this child is so overwhelmed in her emotions that her body has a reaction and she sneezes. But the mom interprets that as this child intentionally chose to spit on me to give me a hard time. And when we're in the lower centers of our brain, we're not in a place to help a child learn and grow. And my guess is that this parent has some negative self-talk coming up that stems from her own childhood, keeping her down in the lower centers of her brain. And it probably sounds something like this. You can't let her get away with that disrespect. She deserves to be punished. Do you know what would have happened to me if I would have done that to my parents? And it seems like this started because the adult made a choice to give this young child a choice about her cereal. And either the young child regretted the decision she made about the cereal, or she didn't fully understand the choice she was making and she was feeling some disappointment or frustration or upset about the outcome of her decision. And there's this thing that exists called emotional contagion, which is our tendency to catch each other's emotions. So when this young child started to feel upset and expressing that, the parent got triggered down to an emotional state and was also expressing her frustration and upset too. Ideally, we want to be able to recognize when we get triggered because it's not a question of if we'll get triggered, it's a question of when we'll get triggered. And then use our skills to move ourselves up to an executive state so that we can use our best skills to teach children how to do the same. When children have an emotion and we just react in silence and punish them for simply having an emotion, then they're going to learn to do the same. Sometimes to other people, sometimes to themselves. Let's see how she reacts from her emotional state as she thinks her child is just trying to give her a hard time.
So, but you spitting at me is not okay. You stay in the timeout corner. Come on.
Okay, so some time has passed, and you can tell that the parent is a little bit more regulated than she was in the previous clips. Her tone is more warm, her body language is more connected, where she's using both hands to hold the child, as opposed to using one hand to point and to say all the things that she was doing wrong. And she's more likely to interpret her child's behavior as something that's cooperative, as opposed to her just giving her a hard time, even though that this child is really still shut down from the previous interaction and not doing a lot of communication here. And because the parent is in a higher state of the brain, she has hope of bringing her child up to an executive state too. Watch closely, notice the things I just mentioned.
No. So what did you do wrong? You spit on me. Good job. What do you say? No, you say you're sorry. It's okay. Till you learn that you can't do that again, we're going to go today without Mickey Mouse, okay? At least this morning. We'll watch Mickey Mouse later today, but right now you can't have Mickey Mouse.
If we want an imposed consequence to be helpful, the child needs to feel safe and connected. It needs to be related, reasonable, and respectful. And the child needs to already have the skill that you want them to learn, and that will only motivate them to use the skill that they already have, not teach them a new skill that they don't have yet. Now, because a child feels safe and connected and loved, she's more likely to accept the consequences. And although she imposed this consequence in a respectful way, she's still using an empathetic tone and a reasonable way. She didn't say no Mickey Mouse forever or no Mickey, she just said no Mickey Mouse for the morning. It wasn't related to what she actually wants the child to learn, so it's unlikely to be helpful for teaching her what to do better next time. Now, personally, if I were to impose a consequence on this young child, it would be just to practice that challenging moment that started all of this. It'd be practicing making a choice of the cereal, practicing choosing if we want milk or not, practicing that whole routine from beginning to end so that she could get better at it next time. And I wouldn't do it in a way where I'm shaming her and pointing my finger at her and trying to make her feel bad for not having the skills last time. It'd be in a way that's empathetic and connected, because I want her to be in an executive state when I'm doing this teaching so that she can use these skills later and really receive that information. If she's down here in the brain, she's not going to be able to receive the information, and I'm going to be wasting my time and wasting her time and really just breaking our relationship.
I love you. Can I have a kiss? No? Okay, I respect that. Can I have a hug? Give me a hug.
Now, some people who are further along in their journey might be tempted to shame or verbally attack this parent because she didn't navigate the situation perfectly. But recognize that that is a part of your own mental model that stems from when you grew up. And it comes from how you've seen or experienced people respond or react to your own mistakes or other people's mistakes. And that's a generational cycle that you're still working on breaking. And for you, that can be a point of empathy for this parent, because it's likely that she didn't have a lot of adults who are modeling these conscious discipline skills that I talk about. And she's just trying to figure it out. And she's doing the very best that she can with the skills, knowledge, and resources she has access to in that moment. And personally, I wouldn't recommend timeout. I would recommend that she self-regulates, that she recognizes that she's triggered. She pauses. She takes a breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, with her belly expanding so she can actually get the benefits of breathing. I would recommend that she feels what she's feeling in that moment, those sensations in her body. And then I would recommend that she chooses to see the situation differently and she needs some mantras. Then I could give her some of those. And then choose a win-win solution where everyone's meeting their needs. The adult whose needs are likely to just maybe move on and transition, or for everyone to feel safe, or for just the child just to have cereal, and the child's needs to have autonomy or to feel her feelings or to be seen in the moment where she made a choice and she regrets and she just wants to be seen and heard and understood and have a little bit empathy for her in the challenging moment for this young child. That's what I would recommend. But I also accept that she might not be there in her journey yet. And I also understand that those are skills that have to be practiced. And so I have so much empathy for this parent, and I know she's doing her best. And this parent is using the skills that she has in her tool belt, just like the child is. So when the parent said,
And then you got mad for some reason, you don't even know why.
she could have been saying that to herself. Because even though she thinks it's about her child having an emotion, it's really about the messages that she received growing up about emotions. Even though she thinks it's about her child spitting on her, it's really about how she interpreted that action from the child and probably saw it as disrespect that really triggered her down to her own emotional state. And it's not our role to break every generational cycle in one go. Our role is to take as many steps as we can in our own growth and then pass the baton to the next generation and let our finish line become their starting line. And I believe that she's doing that here.
I understand. You cannot do that. I know you're mad though, so I won't make you kiss me. I love you. Okay, I heard you whisper.
So remember, avoid being a perfectionist, be an improvementist. The goal isn't to be perfect every day. The goal is to improve a little every day.